Okay, so this lesson is supposed to be a makeup lesson because our class got disrupted on Thursday. And for the other class, class 2117, you can use this as a revision. Okay, so the objectives for this e-learning is to complete the second part of our paragraph development, okay, where we will use one of the debate arguments to craft a full body paragraph. Okay, but before we do that, we need to look at the sample paragraph, which was written by one student. Okay, so it's not a perfect paragraph, but as I mentioned in class, for all intents and purposes, it works. Okay, so an argument essentially contains your main point, some explanation, because obviously you cannot say everything in just one sentence, right? There are things that you need to clarify, so you need to explain. And then slowly you support it with concrete evidence to strengthen your argument. So let's look at the sample paragraph for the question. Examine the extent to which honesty in professional sports is valued. Okay, so the main point for this is the first sentence, right? So the first sentence is supposed to encapsulate your overall argument. And here it says, the value of honesty in professional sports has been eroded due to political agendas of countries. So your main argument has to contain a reason. And the reason here is political agenda. Okay, so what are some of the things that you need to explain? Well, you need to explain what is political agenda and what do you mean by it has been eroded, right? Okay, so let's see how this was explained in the next sentence. So the writer said that several countries in the world use professional sports as a means to prove their superiority. So this is an elaboration of political agendas. Countries using sports to prove their superiority. Okay, so now you have clarified what political agenda means. And what about it? What about value of honesty being eroded? Okay, so they resort to underhanded methods to achieve victory in the sporting arena. What do you mean by value of honesty being eroded? Well, what we mean is that they use underhanded methods. Okay, so you're basically clarifying whatever terms that you use in your topic sentence. Okay, so notice that the line of argument remains the same throughout. In the main argument, you said the political agendas causes countries to erode the value of honesty. And in your clarification, is the same thing. Okay? It is their desire to use sports as a means to prove their superiority that leads them to resort to underhanded methods. But now you're giving more details. Okay? So that's just your clarification. Okay, so the next part is to support your claims with some concrete evidence. Because you said several countries, you need to be able to give examples from a few different contexts. And because you said underhanded methods, then you need to give examples, more than one type of an underhanded method. Okay? So let's see, the first example was this London Olympics and the issue of match fixing. So think about what is the underhanded method used in this example. So it is match fixing, right? The Chinese shuttlers were involved in match fixing, meaning that they predetermined the outcome of the match. And they deliberately lost the quarterfinal match so that they wouldn't have to face another Chinese team and face an American team. So that just shows you what is underhanded method, right? But it doesn't show how they're trying to prove their superiority, how this is a political agenda. So let's see how this was explained in the next sentence. This was to boost their medal tally against the US. Okay, and that shows you how they're trying to prove their superiority, which, as you previously explained, is linked to political agenda. And while that is good, you still need to just reiterate your point, which is basically what the next few sentences are supposed to be about, right? Okay, again, look at the line of argument. It's the same. The political agenda, in this case, the desire to boost their medal tally against the US, is the reason why they got involved in match fixing. It is just a more detailed illustration of everything that you've been saying right from the start. Okay, and the next few sentences, as I mentioned, is just to reiterate your point. Nothing new here. Okay, so in your sample paragraph, you will see another example of the Russian track and field team, and you will see the same line of reasoning. But it's a different type of political agenda, different type of proving their superiority. In this case, it is in terms of economic superiority, trying to prove that they are a strong country. Okay? And a different underhanded method. Here it is a national doping system. But the line of argument is the same. So if you notice, the whole paragraph is linked or is tied by the same line of reasoning throughout. It's just that from a very general, overarching argument, you give some explanation, okay, and you give more detailed illustrations. But everything follows the same line of argument. So now we will look at the essay question that we were working on. Should sportsmen represent countries other than their own? We're going to be working on this argument, which was raised in the debate, okay, for the yes side, for the supporting side, which claimed that yes, sportsmen should represent countries other than their own. The debate group said that they can serve as motivation for local athletes to aspire to work towards the same level of performance as the foreign-born athlete. Okay? Saying that, local athletes can learn from foreign-born athletes. And an example is the Singapore Table Tennis Association, who brings in a lot of foreign talents. Okay, but we need to translate this into a viable topic sentence. A topic sentence that is relevant, true, significant, and precise. Okay, so how to make this more significant? Okay, if you look at this argument, the significance is only to the local athletes, to the team, right? How do you make it more significant, such that you're talking about a bigger impact. Okay, now think about how this would influence the entire nation as a whole, and how, without this, how the nation or the country would otherwise be. Okay, so I propose this topic sentence. Okay, it's linked to that argument, but it is a little bit more significant. So you can say that they could potentially boost the morale of countries struggling to succeed and inject life into the national sports scene. Okay, the impact is a little bit broader. It's to an entire country rather than just to the team, right? And it impacts not just the team but other stakeholders within the nation. Okay, I want you to just think about this argument for a moment, because we are going to be working on this argument for the next few slides.